Hey traders, Raghee here. Welcome to our Thursday episode of Charts and Coffee. All right, great to see everybody. Happy Thursday, gang. All right, little coffee. Today we're rocking the Costa Rican peaberry or Honduras honey. I'm not sure which, but got the mug that's as big as my head with the Viking on it. I guess that's the mode that I'm in. So great to see you guys. Good to see y'all. Hey, by the way, if you weren't able to check out my webinar yesterday, I got some folks, I don't know what you guys were dealing with, but yesterday around 3:45, I'm doing the chat in the simpler options room, pinch hitting there for the close. And the internet goes out. And I don't mean just the internet hiccups. My internet here in the office is really good. It's solid. I mean, knock on wood, I couldn't be more pleased with AT&T. But the internet went out, the phones went out, and the cell service went out all at the same time. And I don't know how many of you experienced anything like that, but it was absolutely crazy. It was, this is how Skynet starts. That's what it felt like anyways. But I do have the replay for you guys if you're dealing with what I was dealing with. Thankfully, my partner here in the office, we end up going back to her office because she's got Infinity. And so I thought, thankfully, because we had the webinar yesterday and no internet. It was pretty crazy. But let me give you the replay. I'll put it on the screen here. And it's simplertrading.com/selective replay. So yeah, if you were having anything like the tech issues we were having here in South Florida, holy cow. All right, so let's get to it. Good morning, good morning. Someone mentioned Starbucks right off the bat. Hey, before we get there, if you're not already looking at the Forex Factory website in the morning, one thing you will find is that we have Fed Chair Powell speaking. Now, for those of you that have been viewers of this program, and by the way, we have some very cool things coming in 2021 with the Charts and Coffee, not the least of which need to be t-shirts and maybe a coffee sponsor. That's what we need. But anyways, you guys remember that part of our early episodes were going into the economic calendar. And one of the things that I consistently, as far as strategy and timing that I deploy, is that if we are in a session preceding any kind of most especially, let me scroll back down here to Powell, Fed Chair Powell, you don't want to be shorting the session. That would have meant Wednesday. You don't want to be shorting this as a day trader or just in general. You don't want to be shorting in front of that particular event. I don't care where he's speaking, right? It could be anywhere. But if he is speaking, we are very bullish in front of the event. Now, after the event could be a completely different story, but we'll see. But in front of the event, you usually want to take advantage of dips and be long as a day trader or even as a daily time frame swing trader. It doesn't matter. So just a quick heads up, 12:30 p.m. And what is he doing? Riverdance. No, I'm kidding. Princeton University. He's speaking at a webinar hosted by, and here's the biggie, audience questions expected. So heads up, gang, 12:30. Now, if you're day trading with me in the Simpler Futures room, you know that we're pretty much wrapping up what we're doing by 11:30 anyways. All right, so what do we have today? We're waking up to not a gap psychology, gang, not gap psychology on the S&P, not gap psychology on the NAS. I would need both the current price action to be, or our 9:30 open, to be both above the high from Wednesday and the close. So S&P and NAS, no. Dow is a maybe yes. So be very careful engaging the Dow too bullishly right on the open. We may get a fade, which could set up a really nice play to the long side. So I'm pretty enthused about that potential for the day trade. And because sometimes that fade of a gap up, meaning the weakness that we see after the gap up, can give us our opportunity to scoop up those long from lower opportunities. And the Russell is a no. So the only one that's borderline is the Dow. All right. So that's what we got going on there. All right. Next up is question. Someone mentioned something about Starbucks. Right. So those of you that are in my Sector Secrets Mastery. So I do 2 services at Simpler. I have my Sector Secrets Mastery, which is my end of day sort of swing trading, ETF options, and stock options. And then we have our futures service where I do the day trading. I do day trading along with other traders in our group, day trading. And then we do the premium video each night and alerts for our end of day daily time frame trend following. Currencies, gang. We've been talking a lot about currencies. FXE, 6C, FXB, 6B, FXC, the 6C. We've been playing those dollar shorts, long com dolls, long euro, long pound plays. So that's a part of what we do over at the futures room. But some of that will overlap with other asset classes. So if I start to say currencies and you guys go into some kind of Forex fear-based convulsions, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be Forex, but don't be afraid of Forex. Biggest market in the world. I love Forex. Anyway, Starbucks. Yeah, so we have our zone in Starbucks that we've been waiting for, and looks like we'll be pretty busy there. Nick, yeah, it looks like we'll be pretty busy on that Starbucks front. So yeah, what can I take a look? Hey there, Kim, at GNOG. Sure. All right. GNOG. Oh, GNOG. Clearly, the coffee has not kicked in yet. There we go. Okay, I actually don't know anything about Golden Nugget. Okay, so, Kim, I would tell you, I don't mind to be long, right? I don't mind to look to the long side. The trend that was most definitely was our beloved double green. It's gone most recently yellow, right? But I would still, at this point, look for some sort of oversold buy if you're going to do anything at all. Now, let's say we were in Sector Secrets, and what I would then do, Kim, is I would say, well, what is GNOG swimming around in the ocean with? What is the school of stocks it's swimming around with? What is the group of boats? Whatever analogy you like. What other names are going to be sensitive to what's happening to Golden Nugget and might be at this moment a relative outperformer? What might look better than Golden Nugget in terms of the relative outperformance? And relative outperformance, for those of you that attended the webinar last night, you guys know relative outperformance is near the tippy top of my watch list. It's near the tippy top of the way that we want to attack trade 2021. And that's the outlook, that's the edge. And so if you can find something moving similarly to Golden Nugget, and who knows, maybe that is the relative outperformer. But we definitely want to always take that step to go look. All right. Now, on the opposite end of that, question from regular guy is U.S. will not blacklist Alibaba. Stock will move up. How should we approach this? Well, I would say you want a bottoming pattern. All right. I'm not a fan of trying to pick a bottom. I mean, even think about the mental picture that conjures. It's too early in the morning for that, right? However, the whole Jack Ma narrative, it's a very political narrative, right? Gosh, do I hate politics. And so what we want to do is think about a bottoming pattern. And this goes back to our dear friend, Mr. Charles Dow. And I'm going to look for, and this could be close. It's funny you mentioned this because I've been getting a lot of questions about this regular guy, which is there some sort of reversal pattern forming? And I do think we have a very classic 1, 2, 3 type setup happening where it's really a momentum-based entry that is going to struggle, I think, hopefully, because we want to see a little bit of effort being made as we trade up through here, maybe trade through here, and then continue again. Hey, I think I'm getting better at this drawing thing. You guys tell me. I think I'm getting better with this whole thing. But you guys see the pattern? That's what it is. That's what it is. All right. It's really a momentum confirmation based pattern. And I'd like to see some high volume confirmation through that high that I've drawn this lower blue arrow. This upper blue arrow is the 34 EMA on the high, which is the top line of my wave. So I think in that zone, we're going to find the opportunity. Now, rather than buying the MoMA, which I actually don't like to do, I would say let the market break, let it make a quick retracement, and buy those options, right? That would be the way. I'm not advocating this is near the top of my list, but this is a way that you could position regular guy for a setup. And this is just a Dow 1, 2, 3 reversal. That's what that is. Okay, so I hope that helps. That's a classic pattern that I used to trade a lot as actually a teenager. I used to do that a lot as a teenager on daily time frames. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Next up is, hey there, Kamal. My wife watched Charts and Coffee with me. Now she wants to trade with me. Oh, very cool. She's a new trader starting with 10K. Would the Forex or sector be suitable for her? Kamal, this is what I would recommend. My free videos over at Simpler Trading. You can sign up for the free newsletter. And you can check out all the different videos I have, not only at the Simpler Trading YouTube page, but my YouTube page. So I would tell her, really immerse into a lot of that content that I'm sharing. And do that for the next, if she just started watching Charts and Coffee and joining our cool little coffee drinking community, another 7 to 10 days, really just immerse yourself in the content that I make available for free. The reason I say that is I talk about a lot of markets, individual stocks, futures, currencies, ETFs, options. And what it'll allow her to do is kind of identify what of those strategies kind of resonates with her. I would say off the top of my head, sector would probably be the way she wants to go, though. When all that's being said and done, we all sort of resonate with different markets, but just preview all the stuff that I make available. And then I think you'll naturally find, oh gosh, yeah, I really like the way Raghee traded Pinterest. Yeah, that's the kind of trade that I want to take. Or I really like the way we set up Etsy or AMD. Or, who knows? Maybe she's going to like some of those currency trades or some of the day trades. I don't know. But, let her check it all out. And then I think pretty naturally she'll find what it is and the style that suits her, right? That's the best, find the best fit, right? Don't rush in. Okay. The webinar from last night, Nick, absolutely. You can find it here at simplertrading.com/selective-replay. Thanks for the question. All right. And yeah, thank you. Chai, enjoyed it? Oh, very cool. Very cool. We kind of broke from the presentation. I really detest PowerPoint. I mean, I know that's the way we communicate ideas, but we took a lot of questions at some point in the webinar. Like I said, I was at my partner's office, and some of you might know my partner here in the office is Trish. And Trish turns around and says, she was at her desk there, and she turns around and says, there's some great questions in the chat stream. Answer those questions. They're terrific questions. So we kind of broke from the PowerPoint for a bit, and we went into some interactive Q&A. So that was actually a lot of fun, and they were excellent. If you guys were in the webinar last night, you guys are out there, you guys asked some top-notch, great questions. I enjoyed the heck out of that webinar in terms of what you guys were sort of inquiring about the way that we were putting on these trades for 2021. So very cool. All right. A2K. Quick question about, and sorry again, I put my camera right smack dab in front of the chat window, and I'm having to look around it. Let me see if I can't move this window. But I joined your mastery last night. Oh, very cool, A2K. Saw the Honeywell trade with a strike at 208. Honeywell's not falling 206. Would I still trade it? So some of these questions, specific to the trades that we've got going on in the mastery. Let me give you a heads up. A2K, since you just joined, and anyone else who's asking, well, Rob, where else do we access you? I'm not available every minute of every market trading hour between 9:30 and 4, but I'm always logged into the room. And you guys will notice, those of you that are already in the mastery, whether it's the futures room or my mastery, I'm available throughout the day because I'm usually trading, or I'm in my office. I've got the luxury of having two different trading rigs here in my home. So I'm usually not too far from the chat room and charts. I'm very lucky very grateful for that kind of ability to do this thing that I love from pretty much any corner of my home. So anyway, when you have questions about the mastery, just type them in the mastery, because what you're going to find is almost 200 plus, I think at this point, right, 200 people who are looking at the same trades, getting the alerts that you're getting, and there's a very vibrant community that's there to help you out, as well as myself. I'm very active in that room. So the bottom line is, will I still trade it? Absolutely. Even though that it's gone double yellow, you can see here that the trend has most certainly shifted. All right. The trend that preceded, this is the uptrend that preceded the chop, it's still going to carry with it a bullish bias. Yeah, absolutely. So we are still interested in Honeywell. And I believe I have a fill in Honeywell. Now, I also alert 2 to 3 different levels, usually when we have a setup, meaning you can have the choice between an aggro, a moderate, and a conservative level. And this is going to allow you to determine what you're willing to risk, what you're willing to pay, and whether or not you just want to pass on the trade altogether. The service is really about giving you my ideas, but then you guys determine what it is you want to do. Starbucks was one of them. 2, AMD was another one. Yeah, thanks for the question there. And AMD was another one of the trades. Absolutely. We like this pullback. We've played this pullback before. So some of you might remember, hey, wait a minute, Rag. Yeah, we were already in this. Are we going to do it again? Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at the price action and determine how and what we want to do with AMD going forward. But we've already put a quarter in that machine and had a pretty good little ride. So the question then becomes, do we want to do it again? And whether or not we want to stick with what's working means, is it still working? Does it still have the kind of structure that we find we have an edge in? Maybe this goes back to what I was recommending to Kim earlier. This goes back to then asking, is there anything else? Let's do this. I'm going to show you guys how we can compare this. Is there anything else in, for example, the SMH where AMD is weighted? Is there anything else in the SMH? And how come that didn't change? Let's try that again. SMH. Boom. There we go. Is there anything else in the SMH that's also pulling back that might actually be double green, including the SMH itself? Right? This is what I mean about, if you watched the webinar last night, I talk about curated watch lists. All watch lists are curations, right? We just look for a collection of certain criteria. Well, what I actually recommend to save time, because I'm not usually doing this kind of scanning and trading but about an hour a day, right? So you might say, well, Rag, you're looking at the markets all day. I love it. I like scanning. I write. We do the charts and coffee. I create a lot of content, but I love to be able to watch this game. You know, if you had a football game, if you love a sport and there's football on all day long, I mean, you're going to watch it. That's what this is for me, right? Doesn't mean I have to play football though and get hit. So we want to look at these curated lists, right? But what I add is we have this pre-curated list. Someone else is doing all the heavy lifting for me. And that is what the SMH does. And we're going to see more of this, gang. For those of you that are thinking, how do I do this, Rag? And is this going to become something I can do for the rest of my career? I've been doing this since 2008 because the relevance and the importance and the influence of ETFs over the market have been increasing since 2008. And then you have things like the ARKK, which are really changing the game for us active traders. I don't mean day traders, I mean active traders. Because here, Kathy Wood and company have created an active and basically open, transparent ETF. And if you know what's weighted within the ETF, what are the stocks that are moving within this? A lot of traders are using this in that same way. They may not call it a pre-curated watch list, but they're letting Kathy Wood do all the work, which is great. That's what we want to do. Coattail the folks who are moving the money around. What are they focused on? What are they going to buy? What are they more likely to buy on dips? Where's the volume? Where's the attention? That's where we're able to use this to our advantage. If you know how to decode that, well, you've got clearly an edge, right? And that's what I'm talking about. And I think the likes of the ARKKs and the ARKFs and this this new sort of, it's not new, but this sort of emerging popularity of this genre of ETFs is going to really make what I do with ETFs is pretty curated, just supercharge it. So think about that. Know what's in the ETF. And this kind of goes back to what Kim was saying as well. And then with AMD, right, I'm going to look within that SMH to find out, are there other stocks along with AMD, maybe better than AMD? Remember, relative outperformance, right? Okay. So those of you that have been asking about the tools, and I gotta sign off here, gang. Yes, in the mastery, because it does require some update and settings and code. In the mastery, I do make certain indicators available. I mean, I have one set of premium tools, but everything else, grab, wave, propulsion, JT trend, trade flags, the multi down in here. Yeah, those are things that I make available to members of the mastery. And so, yeah, if you're interested, come check it out. Hang out with us for a quarter, and you'll see exactly how I like to tackle these markets. It's already been a terrific year. I can't believe it's only the 14th day of the month, and I'm hoping that at least a Q1 and Q2 go like this. But anyways, I got to go head over to my day job. You guys have an amazing rest of the day. Remember, Jerome Powell at 12:30. Typically speaking, I don't want to short in front of him. If you were shorting yesterday, ask yourself why, because that's a low probability bozo no-no in front of Powell. Those of you that have been following me a while, you guys know the routine. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Be good to each other, gang.